I pulled a story here, folks, from VGC. Now, obviously, that is Andy Robinson and the crew. I like them a lot. Sometimes they get it wrong, but we all get it wrong, so it's not a problem. I do like VGC. I do use their things more often than not. Well, the PlayStation VR 2.0 came out to a whimper. It sold about 600,000 units upon its release. I don't even know if it's gotten to a million yet. To say that it's been a disappointment for PlayStation proper, it'd be an understatement. It's doing so poorly that they've actually stopped production. And then this production stop was a couple of months ago, as we heard. We know that they closed London Studios, which was one of the big studios making VR games for them. And well, if they're closing down the VR studio, it probably means that Sony's going to do what Sony normally does with their hardware, and that's not PlayStation, and they're not going to support it. Boxenberger, you're a PC guy, so you understand the tech specs of what's going on here. So the PC MR, which is the PC Master Race, have been looking for a way to get the PlayStation VR to work on their PC.
Yeah.
What's interesting here today on today's first topic is that Sony has created an adapter that's cost $60, and you'll be able to plug your PlayStation VR 2.0 using this adapter into your PC. The problem here is what you can't do with the VR unit that you can do if it's hooked up to your PS2, I mean your PS2, your PS5, is there'll be no HDR, there'll be no headset feedback, there'll be no eye tracking, there'll be no adaptive triggers or haptic feedback. None of this is going to be supported on PC. Seems like a giant half step, in my opinion. What's yours?
I really don't understand why. There's no technical reason why this stuff shouldn't work. HDR works on PC. Haptic feedback works on PC. If you connect your PlayStation 5 controller to PC, you can make it work. Effortless, by the way. Yeah, connect and play God of War on PC, and you got the haptic feedback. There's no reason to not implement this stuff. So I really don't get why. The VR2 wasn't a success for them. So we all get that they kind of need to, increase their install base for it in order for developers to actually make games for it and to make it at least a little business case success. But to take away features that are simply available on console and could be easily implemented on PC as well really doesn't make any sense. But I think it goes along with Sony's strategy to always try to, provide something unique on the console. Maybe that's the idea. Not that I agree with that approach, but yeah, that's why they announced last week. Yeah, we're not bringing the single player games day and date to PC. Whether that makes sense or not, but that's the only explanation I got, that they want to have the VR2 as something special on the console. But if you really want to grow your install base, and with PC, you can easily do that because the device itself is a good hardware. Don't get me wrong. In itself, it's got good specs. It's comfortable. It has a good screen. It's a good piece of hardware. And VR on console is just significantly better supported than it is on console, because they are the only ones doing it, and nobody makes games for an install base of around 1 million VR headsets sold. So that's obvious, but on PC that's a different thing. So I really don't understand why they don't make the PSVR as attractive as possible. But yeah, sometimes Sony is just what they are, right? Just a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially if they were looking to move units. If you want to sell your unit, which still is priced at $550, which is ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where you actually have wires, you need something else to use it to
Yeah,
play with it, right? Obviously, it can't be like the MetaQuest 3. You simply just put it on, you power it
um,
up, and your room is where you go.
exactly.
It's again, it's one of those head scratching moves from Sony that we consider to be a half step.
Absolutely.
It's
And
these
see,
half measures.
you brought up a good point. There are so many other headsets on PC. So in a similar price range that have even better specs, so why would if you're a PC gamer, why would you invest in that now? Not getting HDR, the feedback, and so on, losing out on these features while other headsets in a similar price range provide that at better specs with no cords attached to your headset. So it doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, Umbra, you are as someone that has joined the PC master race, as it were.
Indeed.
This is one of those things that people were hoping that they would be able to use to their advantage. Because listen, like Boxenberger said, it's comfortable. It's from what we understand, it's lightweight. The issue I have immediately is the wire. I know it's just one wire, but it's still a wire. You're still attached to something. Where, like, for instance, I could not use the workout program that I have for MetaQuest 3 if I had a wire, because I would tear something out of the wall in the boxing movements that I use it for 3 days a week. It would be ridiculous.
What were you playing?
This
Tybo, the Xbox edition?
No,
actually,
playing,
I Supernatural Fitness is what I use.
he was playing Punch the PS5. That's what he was playing.
Yeah, bunch of
Not about
PS5
the
in the distance.
Yeah, I was punching ponies.
There you
Punching
go.
ponies. There you go. Punching
And I was
ponies.
exploding them. No,
Yeah,
I
running
use
up there,
something
you
called
just
Supernatural
punch.
Fitness is what I use. But um, oh my goodness, it's gone off the rails, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies. Look, let's talk about this because there are so many features missing from this $550 before tax device. So $600 to get this into your home. You have to spend an additional $60 for the adapter, and well, there you go. I don't think it's enough. To me, it's a half step. I hate when Sony does things like this. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, like you said, it's a half step for sure. But that $60 or whatever, $50 for the adapter for one is crazy. But it's what you expect from Sony. I expect them to charge you crazy, like ridiculous prices for a simple device. Also, too, I mean, you hit it on the head. You said it already. You said there's no HDR, there's no headset feedback, there's no eye tracking, there's no adaptive triggers that work with it, no haptic feedback other than rumble. You know what else it doesn't have? It won't have sales either, at least. It won't have that. And that's the thing. Like, and I don't understand why they would think anybody would go for this when you have better options on PC, that you can use right now, from Oculus to as I was talking to my brothers Kay Asante and John Wolf on their show the other day, yesterday, in fact, should I say, and we talked about this. I couldn't give much in the way of it because, as I've said many times, I do not care about VR, right? It doesn't do anything for me. The only time I would really be interested in it is if it's like to the level of the Matrix where I'm plugged in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or Ready Player One for that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna have to be able to like taste the steak like old boy did on the Matrix. Like, oh, this my brain is telling me it's a steak. I'm gonna have to be able to taste the steak and mentally in my head before I can really get into this, But
you're not wrong, sir.
That's how I see it. But my thing is if you're going to offer that, and the problem is with them, it's the same situation they fall into with the whole idea of thinking that PC gamers are going to go suddenly buying PlayStation 5s to get those exclusives when they'll just wait. Is that Sony is like, oh, here, throw a little pittance toward the people. Like, here you go. You can go play Half-Life Alyx at half the fun now with all the stuff that you won't be having. Now, that's not to say that somebody on PC. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that somebody on PC, some genius, is going to be able to install all those things back into it software wise into some little downloadable package. I'm going to guess that. I wouldn't doubt for 1 second that these geniuses that are online somewhere will be able to patch that all through and have it working. I think though the problem is that you still have better headsets out there in the market. Again, you can look at the MetaQuest 3. You can look at the what's the name of that one from the Valve Index? That's the one Kay was talking
Yes.
about. So you got the Oculus, and so you got all these other options that are cheaper, mind you. So why would I go for that when it's already hampered and hurt, where I have to do additional things to get it to be up to par already? It's and exactly the Vive. I forgot about that one, HTC. So it's like it's to me, it's already, as they would say, dead on arrival. I just don't see a need for it, and it seems like Sony kind of shot themselves in the foot, like putting it out there this way. Maybe they'll revise it and change things, but I don't understand I don't get the idea of putting out like not your best foot for it, but just throwing anything out there. I can guarantee you the PC gamers aren't going to be like, oh yeah, I got to get this PSVR 2. Like, they're not going to be doing that. Not when they have better options and don't have to do more menial work to try to get it to work up to par. I just don't understand. I don't get the mindset. I don't really get the logic behind that.
Yeah, again, I don't listen. Sony does some things that are good. They haven't recently, to be honest with you. Again, this is not like attacking Sony. They make good first party games. Now they haven't done that in a while. We haven't. I don't remember the last Ghost of Tsushima. That is tip of the spear. There are a lot of games that they've made in the past that are great. People still play them to these days. People are still discovering them. But this industry is all about what have you done for me lately, and they have not done much, to be quite honest with you. Helldivers 2, like I've talked about it numerous times, is a great success for Sony. And it really does cement that if they put a good studio that has a good product, they could actually make a multiplayer game that matters. But this is one of those situations where, okay, so we already know that VR is niche, right? Crazy Lou Gaming. I use it. Kay Asante uses it. A lot of people enjoy it. I really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I am so excited for VR gaming because there's an Aliens VR game coming that looks dope. They have a Batman Arkham game that looks freaking amazing. The reveal is going to happen at the Keeleys. I'm very excited for that. I mean, again, it's not the Arkham game that we all want, but I'll take it. It's in VR. That's cool. What are your thoughts on this, Crazy Lou Gaming? Again, I think this is just a bonehead move, man. It just really is.
Well, like Umbra said it, there's others that are cheaper, right? That you can go ahead and buy it, but probably has a lot of the features that the PSVR 2 has. This move that they're making, it got posted to me yesterday, and I was talking about it a little bit in the morning, but today I just went deep dive into it. I talked a couple of things, right? For example, you got this PSVR 2 adapter coming out, right? A good move for Sony would have been, hey, if you guys got a PSVR 2, type in your serial number. We'll send you a free adapter for you guys to use this adapter. I mean, that would have been a good move. I don't remember if I don't know if you remember that Kinect did this with the Xbox, that when the Xbox One S came out, in order to adapt the Kinect, they had an adapter. Now, if you had a Kinect, they said, here, give us a serial number. We'll send you a free adapter for you to adapt your Kinect. I mean, that would have been great if Sony would have wanted to do that, right? That would have been great. That's one thing. Another thing is $60 for a downgrade. That's not a good move. I mean, it's expensive, right? It's $60. It's expensive for basically getting a downgrade. Now, if you would have gotten like a cool upgrade, like you could use your PSVR wireless, I don't know, because I'm not really that techie type of guy. But this is a downgrade totally, because basically it takes like 80% of the features that the PSVR has. It takes it away. And like Umbra says, to sit down and just to get this for you to buy this adapter and then start adjusting to get this to work, it's insane. I mean, why not just put it simple? But Umbra, I got the answer for you and why they're doing this, because they're doing this to the Steam community too. I mean, look what's happening out there, right? Boom said they put out a successful multiplayer, but how can it be successful if I, in Dominican Republic, cannot purchase it? You know where I can purchase it? Only on the PlayStation. That's it right here. Only on this baby I can purchase it. But on Steam, I cannot purchase it. It does not let me purchase it because it requires a PSN account, which I have too, and that's not my problem. My problem is I just cannot access nothing to the game. I can't buy it. I can't do nothing, absolutely nothing. So what PlayStation is doing with this whole adapter thing is telling you, hey, it's not gonna work on PC, but here on the PS5 it works perfectly. So you gotta get yourself a PS5 for it to work 100%. That's what they're doing. They're basically trying to force you in a way without telling you that you need the PS5 to make it work 100%, which is a shame. It sucks that they're doing this. It sucks. It's for me, it's totally, I find it like an anti-consumer situation, because basically, okay, I go out there, I'm like, man, I want to buy a headset. Oh, this PSVR 2 looks cool. Look at everything it has. I buy it, but man, I get this adapter, and yet it takes away all the features. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't understand why they keep doing this instead of being like all open and say, okay, get the adapter. We're going to give you everything this PSVR 2 was going to give you, for you not to go out there and buy another option, because that's what people are going to do at the end of the day. They're going to go out there, buy another option. Of course, it's going to sell probably to probably 50 or 100 consumers out there that probably say, hey, let me go buy it to play some games on PC. I don't know how much, but it's going to sell, because I know there's going to be fans say, yes, I'm going to go and buy it so I can prove everybody that this is the best thing that's ever happened. I know it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, $60 for a downgrade, that's not cool. I mean, seriously, let go. Let the PC community jump in, enjoy the products you have, because hey, you could be banking from this, guys. I don't understand. It's like they want your money, but take away like 80% of what the PSVR can do. What? Why? Because to get us to go out there and buy a PS5, I mean, you guys still do not get the idea that the PC community and everybody that's gaming on PC, because I said this before, right? You put $2 to $4 grand on a PC. Are you going to pay an extra $500 or $700 that it cost here to go buy a PS5? Hell no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to play something else. So we're going to buy another VR headset and have fun. That's what we're going to do. So you guys are missing out on banking, and that's the truth.
Yeah, again, I don't know who they were marketing this to, but it's gonna be DOA, kind of like Concord. Sorry, I had to take a shot at that game because PC Mag said that they're very excited for this game. Okay, the capping is just embarrassing. You saw my tweet out there. I got a lot of traction. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, PC Mag garbage." I think that I said that's. You know what's funny here? It's PC Mag. That's what's funny. Listen, Jamie, let's bring you in on this on the final point of this conversation. Again, if you just look at the missteps that Sony has been taking in the last couple of months, it's just been like who's steering the ship here? And obviously, let's put this into perspective. Why this doesn't make any sense. They have a showcase, it comes out, and it's egregious. It is a 5 because of Astrobot. That's why it's a 5. And that's not good. Astrobot, I'm buying day one. I'm a fan of platformers. That game looks dope. I'm definitely getting that. But, and you have the business meeting with Herman Holtz. He goes on to say that, hey, our strategy is to put older games on PC to get PC gamers to buy a PlayStation 5. Just dumb. And then you see this half-step move where the adapter $60, PSVR 2.0 not selling, literally sitting on shelves, still $550, and they say, hey, we're going to allow the PC players to go and get at it, and they're taking away all these features. Now, granted, I saw some people in the chat, and Umbra made mention of it. The PC community is probably going to fix this in a snap. But why should they? Why should they have to do that? How come Sony doesn't do that? Let's get your hot take on this conundrum.
I mean, the PlayStation VR is a half step in general. Don't get me wrong. It's an impressive piece of technology, what it can do, what it's capable of, and it even looks cool. But the problem is PlayStation hasn't really supported it in any way since it came out. It's had some sporadic games now and there, and they've pretty much almost discontinued the manufacturing of the device. There's no major first-party games in development for it. Like, think about it like this: they launched their console in 2020 and talked about VR the whole time, hyped up people on this new VR, and then when they finally launched their new VR headset, it cost more than their console, and it didn't have like a wide range of games. And when it comes to VR, you're pretty much limited to first-person shooters. Like that's all you see people make, like first-person adventure, first-person shooters. So like the choice there isn't really that good, and like people aren't buying it. It's created this sort of endless loop. People aren't buying it because there aren't enough games on it, and there aren't enough games on it because not enough people are buying it. So, like people on console aren't buying it. So, like on PC, this is a last-ditch effort for them. People were saying Call of Duty on Game Pass was a last-ditch effort. This is a last-ditch effort. Given like PC support for this device, and it has like less features, so you're paying more for less features. So are they trying to do what? Trying to entice people to buy a $500 console to use those extra features? That doesn't make sense. The PC gamers aren't going to do that. And if you think about it, it's really insulting to PC gamers because they already have access to multiple different headsets, a lot of which can do the same. And like, look at the Meta Quest 3. That can do a lot of the same, and it's about the same price. And then you have the wireless options. So it's like, what is the point of this even existing? Is it just to have the PlayStation brand attached to something on PC? Is it to try and garner a fan base on PC for PlayStation? It doesn't make sense. PlayStation VR to me is MVP, minimal viable product. They aren't doing anything with it, and it's evident because like if like PlayStation, this powerhouse and all this stuff, and people talk about Xbox not having games and stuff. Nintendo's in the corner doing their own thing. PlayStation isn't really an exciting topic at the minute. In general, like they don't really have much going on. There isn't many first-party titles coming out. There's Concord coming out later this year, which we'll talk about in a bit, which has controversy over it. But like, there's nothing really interesting when it comes to PlayStation at the minute because there's no first-party stuff. So the whole VR situation's on topic. I think PlayStation VR is kind of done. They aren't making major first-party titles for it. Major third-party companies aren't making games for it. So, like, what is the point of the headset existing? So we can get these tech demos now and then. And like, if you look at the image on Twitter, they used the premier VR game, Half-Life Alyx, in the image. And if you look at a lot of the replies, people think Half-Life Alyx is coming to PlayStation. So it's like, it was a really good way to market that. But I think at the end of the day, PC gamers just have way more options to choose from. And this costing more, it doesn't make much sense. It just doesn't. And I think, will there ever be a PlayStation VR 3? I think going off the things we're seeing right now, no. The VR market is weird. The VR market is very weird because people aren't buying enough products. So nobody's making games, like I said. And I think, like I said, this is a last-ditch effort. It's pretty much the end.